reasonable doubts on a special night, NBC Thursday.
It's Normie's Fatal Attraction, next time on Cheers.
Wednesday at 10:35 on KARE 11.
Yo, feel the groove of Christmas cheer, cause Santa Claus is
out of Christmas wrap?
I forgot.
Snyder's has everything you need for the holidays, like 2 packs of Kodacolor Gold film on sale for $6.99, selected sizes of Stetson cologne and aftershave for just $8.99 each, and assorted Snyder's brand vitamins, all sale price this week. So when you run out of something important,
What's up? I can do it again, man.
run into Snyder's.
I can see the hesitation in my customers' faces. I mean, I know I'm giving them the best prices, but how can I prove it? So I suggest they use their Citibank Visa.
Here you go, Walter.
If they see their purchase in a printed ad for less,
Enjoy your camera.
Citibank refunds the difference.
May I help
up
you?
to $150.
Yes, please.
That's Citibank price protection.
If getting the right price is important, this is the right card.
Not just Visa, Citibank Visa.
Here are tonight's winning Lotto Minnesota numbers. We'll repeat these numbers in a few minutes during KARE 11's News at 10. From your 24-hour news station, this is Paul Majors, Diana Pierce, Jeff Passolt, and meteorologist Paul Douglas. And this is KARE 11 News at 10.
Good evening. After years of bitter fighting, women will finally join the ranks of St. Paul's Fire Department.
Until now, St. Paul was the only major American city with an all-male fire department. But today, 9 women passed the department's physical tests, and that story headlines the news tonight. In a moment, we'll tell you about the end of the hostage-taking era in Lebanon. The last American captive is finally free. You'll also hear dramatic testimony from the woman who claims William Smith brutally raped her at the Kennedy estate in Florida. And why the National Hockey League is recommending that all teams offer their players tests to see if they carry the AIDS virus.
But we begin tonight with a story many believe is long overdue. St. Paul will soon become the last major city in America to hire women for its fire department. As KARE 11's Dave Wildermuth reports, women had never passed the department's physical exam until today.
Here, from the beginning, fighting fires has always been man's work. The physical test to become a St. Paul firefighter was so tough, women couldn't pass. So they sued, declaring it discriminatory. A judge agreed and in 1988 ordered the exam revised and hiring frozen. It took till today to get a new test for the old applicants. 38 of them returned and suited up, including 9 women. This time, all of them passed, 28-year-old Chris Weber included.
Elated. I mean, it was just the best feeling in the world to finally know I passed after all this time, so.
The testers credit a new 12-week training program for producing better results.
It probably means that those who showed up were ready.
Among those showing up were men offered jobs in 1988, only to see the offer shelved due to the suit. And not all are ecstatic to work with women.
What about having female firefighters on the force? How do you react to that?
No comment on that.
But the city is anxious to get both men and women to work. The department has been limping along short, nearly 50 firefighters. The new hires won't be trained and in uniform until summer '92. Dave Wildermuth, KARE 11 News, St. Paul.
14 firefighters from other cities also took St. Paul's test today. All of them, including 3 women, passed. 10 will be offered jobs.
The last American hostage is finally out of Lebanon. Kidnappers released Terry Anderson from captivity this afternoon. Anderson raised both hands in triumph as he met reporters in Damascus. The only visible mark of his captivity appeared to be that one bow on his glasses was missing. Anderson was held nearly 7 years longer than any other American hostage. He thanked the American people for not giving up.
The thousands and thousands of people whom I don't know, never met, don't know me, whom I know have been working and praying for us all, for all the hostages. Your support, your prayers were important.
Anderson was the Associated Press bureau chief when he was kidnapped. He'll be coming home with his wife and a 6-year-old daughter he met for the first time tonight. NBC will air a special report about Anderson's release at 11:05 tonight. after Cheers.
High drama today in the rape trial of William Kennedy Smith as the alleged victim told her side of the story. TV cameras blocked out the woman's face as she walked to the stand. She said she agreed to give Smith a ride to his home after they met at a Palm Beach disco. She broke down and cried as she testified that Smith violently raped her on the lawn of the Kennedy estate.
He had me on the ground, and I was trying to get out from underneath of him because he was crushing me, and he had my arm pinned. And I was yelling, no, and stop. And then he pushed my dress up, and he raped me.
The woman is expected to return to the stand tomorrow. She'll be cross-examined by Smith's attorney. The National Hockey League is urging all of its teams to offer HIV tests to their players.
But NHL President John Ziegler says testing for the virus which causes AIDS won't be mandatory. That comes one day after a Montreal doctor claimed a female patient told him she'd slept with 50 NHL players. The woman died of AIDS 2 years ago. North Stars coach Bob Gainey says in the wake of the Magic Johnson case, the team's medical staff had already met with the players. They offered confidential HIV testing to any player who wanted it.
There's no question that hockey players are young men, and a lot of them are single men, and they travel around, and maybe they are not much different than Magic Johnson or were not in the past. And there's no reaction other than we hope that if this lady died from the disease, that she didn't pass it on to anybody before she did.
Gainey says he opposes mandatory HIV testing, but supports it on a voluntary basis.
Former KKK leader David Duke wants to be the next president of the United States. Duke said today he'll run as a Republican against President Bush in next year's primaries. Protesters calling him a Nazi briefly interrupted Duke's announcement. Duke says even if he loses to Bush, he may continue to run as a third-party candidate. The fate of a controversial cross-burning case in St. Paul now rests with the U.S. Supreme Court. The case began last year when 2 teenagers were arrested for burning a cross outside the home of a black family. Today, attorneys argued before the High Court about whether St. Paul's hate crimes ordinance is legal or whether it violates the First Amendment.
Written or symbolic expression that you find offensive could be prosecuted simply on the basis that you don't like it.
Clearly was not there for delivering a message. It was there to threaten and intimidate this family, and the law will not tolerate that.
Most states, including Minnesota, have similar hate crime laws on the books. The High Court won't issue its ruling until sometime next year.
School teachers in Rochester are walking the picket lines tonight after contract talks with the district broke down. The 800 teachers took turns picketing in today's sub-zero weather. The strike means 14,000 students won't be going to school until the walkout is settled. Teachers plan to picket 12 hours every school day, and classes are canceled until further notice. The two sides remain far apart on wages and contract language. Rochester teachers are the first to strike in Minnesota this year.
Well, as if we don't have enough already, guess what? Paul Douglas says there's more snow in the forecast.
Later, the story of a 96-year-old woman who's getting even with a supermarket tabloid.
In sports, the Vikings officially take the wraps off the worst-kept secret in town.
But next in the Extra, hear from Minnesotans who were there when the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor.
Look ahead. The futurist means beauty becomes precision beyond machinery. Seiko, a cool wave in a warm embrace. Seiko, the most beautiful watches in the world. The most innovative designs on Earth. Could only be Seiko. Seiko, the future of time.
Tools make great gifts, and Menards has them at holiday savings. Black & Decker is the name to know for all the do-it-yourselfers on your list this year. The Black & Decker Air Station is now just $46.99. And these quality Cooper tools will come in handy for all kinds of projects. This 25-foot Lufkin tape measure is now just $7.99. You'll find gifts for the do-it-yourselfer at Menards.
Warm season's greetings to you all from Menards.
If I could walk, I'd wear a pair of those, something warm to cover up my toes. If I could talk, I'd beg you please, give me some toasties. Hey look, yeah, I've got a pair now, can't walk, but I'll wear them anyhow. I'll crawl on my knees wearing my totes toasties.
Totes Toasties, now for the whole family.
If you're looking for a winning basket at the end of a game, you'll look to Magic Johnson.
But for brand name electronics
at low prices,
you look to Target.
Reach out this holiday season with an AT&T cordless telephone, just $66. And this AT&T answering machine is only $49.
With Target Electronics, you can't miss.
Nice shot.
It's all in the wrist.
Magic. Magic. Mr. Johnson.
This weekend, the world will look back to an event 50 years ago that changed history. On December 7th, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on the U.S. Pacific Fleet in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. In tonight's Extra, the first of several stories about Minnesotans who were at Pearl Harbor on the day that will live in infamy.
Pearl Harbor was an amazing military feat for the Japanese because they had to move their entire strike force thousands of miles without being detected. Historians still argue over why the attack happened and why it was successful. But as KARE 11's Alan Costantini reports, there's no argument about the tragedy of those killed and the heroism of those who survived.
Like any American old enough at the time, Minnesotans can tell you exactly where they were when they heard the news.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. The Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii by air, President Roosevelt has just announced.
I was in Duluth, Minnesota, and I was in the movie theater with my wife, and we came out and we were told.
I was at home listening to the radio.
I was at the Naval Academy. I was a student at the Naval Academy in Annapolis.
They dropped very large 1,000-pound bombs.
Glenn Turner of Burnsville will never forget where he was, because fate placed him smack in the middle of the Japanese attack that brought a reluctant America into World War II.
My battle station was the very top of the foremast, 125 feet above the water. I literally had a ringside seat to everything going on in the harbor.
On December 7, 1941, Glenn was a 20-year-old sailor on the battleship USS California, anchored at Pearl Harbor. In the 3 minutes between the time battle stations were sounded and the ship was ready to fight, California was torpedoed twice. So swift and effective was the attack.
One of the things that really scared me, within the first 10 minutes, I saw Oklahoma roll over. And she rolled to port, and I saw that big mast hit the water. And I'm up in the top of the mast up there, and I'm wondering, how am I going to get off of here if California rolls? Because we were already listed 17 degrees to port.
2 of the 1,000-pound bombs dropped that day hit the California as Glenn watched.
One of them hit the center line hatch and killed all the men passing up ammunition. And one of my jobs the day after was to go in there and help carry bodies out, which was a grisly thing. It made me ill.
As Glenn watched the battle from his ringside seat, he saw the Arizona explode and fill the narrow harbor channel along Battleship Row with dense black smoke. And directly across the channel, he saw the USS Shaw devastated when a bomb hit its forward ammunition hold.
The Shaw's a destroyer, small ship, but lost a lot of men that morning.
In the confusion after the attack, Glenn Turner was one of many incorrectly believed to have been killed. The dreaded "We regret to inform you" telegram was sent to his parents in Windham. It was several days before the Navy corrected its error and sent a "glad to inform you" telegram. Glenn has kept both wires, despair and joy, in the same frame.
Well, this is an oil-soaked dollar.
Vernon Lutinger of Richfield still has an oil-soaked dollar bill, a reminder of the water conditions that gagged him as he fled the California. He was a 21-year-old experimental radar operator who dabbled in the fleet boxing ring, but never could have imagined the fight he would face on December 7th. Like so many survivors, Vern narrowly avoided death in his ship.
A bomb went down through the midship hatch, and that's where we lost most of our men, and that's where we would have been if we had continued down.
Vern says there were clues to Japanese intentions that the American military missed or ignored. 2 or 3 months before the attack on Pearl Harbor, the California's radar revealed a visitor during night training.
I gave them the target, and they trained the searchlights and the broadside guns, which they had been using at that range. And they snapped the searchlight on, and they're set this Japanese sub in the center of our operations.
Vern says the California didn't fire on the sub and it escaped. Charles Pallarine of Robbinsdale tells another story of an aerial surveillance plan covering a 500-mile radius of Hawaii. It was proposed in November, just weeks before the attack.
The purpose behind it was to thwart any would-be aggressor against our bases.
But they didn't do this.
No, because the Admiral Kimmel felt that we didn't have the equipment, number one. Number two, he didn't feel we had the trained personnel to do it either, which of course obviously goes with the equipment.
But if they had done this plan?
But if they had done this plan, then it's possibility things might have been different at Pearl Harbor.
Charles was a 21-year-old Air Corps photographer at Hickam Air Base at the entrance to Pearl Harbor. But he was in downtown Honolulu having breakfast when the attack began. He witnessed the confusion as Navy shells fired in vain at the attacking planes began exploding in the city and rushed back to find his base in turmoil. Charles spent the day fighting fires at Hickam as panic and guns spread and everyone waited for the invasion that never came. There were Minnesotans on just about every ship and location in and around Pearl Harbor. They have remarkable stories of terror and panic, courage and survival. And this year, dozens of them wrote those stories down for this book, published by the Twin Cities chapter of the Pearl Harbor Survivors. Last month, the survivors were given congressional medals at a church in Burnsville, an emotional moment for hands unsteadied by age and eyes wet with memories of a scene 5 decades earlier and of the young, handsome men who never made it from below decks, who lost the chance at normal lives but became the inspiration for America's drive to victory in the world's biggest war.
Those that gave their lives, you know, will never realize what they've done. We do.
And 50 years later, everyone knows. Constantini, KARE 11 News.
There are 175 members of the Pearl Harbor Survivors Organization in Minnesota. 85 of them live in the metro area.
Tomorrow night, we'll meet a group of men from St. Paul who did something at Pearl Harbor we guarantee will surprise you.
Yo, feel the groove of Christmas cheer, 'cause Santa Claus is
out of Christmas wrap?
I forgot.
Snyder's has everything you need for the holidays, including a wide selection of Christmas and other cards from American Greetings, Winter Legs pantyhose on sale at 2 for $5, and assorted Your Life vitamins, sale priced at $1 off. So when you run out of something important,
What's up? I can do it again, man.
Run into Snyder's.
Dave Thomas travels the world over looking for new foods for Wendy's.
Bon appetit. Excuse me, is this what I ordered?
Tonight we feast,
but first, we dance!
and it's not easy.
Boy, I sure could go for a Big Dave's Deluxe.
It's back, a big quarter-pound of fresh beef, cheese, 3 strips of bacon, sauteed onions, the works, only at Wendy's.
Which way to El Habib? El Habib.
Come in for another Big Dave's Deluxe today.
Congratulations to you, Bill, and the LDB team on your 10th anniversary.
Thank you, Corbin.
Now, I am a member of the LDB Technologies Group, and I assure you we are serious about full service and saving you money. We provide international, national, 1-800 and away from office travelers long distance, and worldwide conference calling. LDB provides lower business rates and generous volume discounts. Hey, I like LDB. LDB is the best. Bill here and his team prove it.
Next time on Cheers.
I want you to know I love you too, Mr. Peterson.
Normie's new secretary has this cute little crush on him. A correction, make that a cute little case of fatal attraction.
She's following me! Make it stop! Make it stop!
Oh, hey, don't panic, big guy.
It's like she's a zombie love slave.
'Cause help is on the way.
I get a lie when I don't even have to buy her a drink.
It's Cliffy to the rescue. Next time on Cheers.
Wednesday at 10:35 on KARE 11. You're watching KARE 11 News at 10.
The floodwaters are receding on the Cannon River in Northfield tonight. The ice jam is still growing, but the water is now flowing beneath the surface. The pressure of the flood was enough to uplift concrete slabs in the basement of the Malto-Meal building. The company lost nearly 200,000 boxes of production when it shut down to deal with the water. In all, 4 businesses were flooded before the water receded.
Paul Douglas is already out in the backyard, and the weather forecast is starting to sound like a broken record. Snow. Snow.
Snow. Yeah, you're right. Our snowy treadmill continues, Paul and I. I think by this time tomorrow we'll have about 60, maybe 62 inches of snow for the fall. We're going to get about 4. I think some spots could see 5 between now and lunchtime tomorrow, at least in the 2 to 4 inch range. In fact, I think we'll have a good 1 to 3 by rush hour, which should be anything but tomorrow morning. Time to have more fun with negative numbers. Did you see the long list of record lows this morning? Not only was today's high of 1 the coldest December 4th on record, this morning minus 11 in the cities, St. Cloud and Duluth minus 16, minus 23 International Falls, Warroad, the coldest spot in the USA, minus 24. When it gets this cold, you can have problems with something called black ice. Very insidious, nothing falling from the sky, but at temperatures at or below 0, you can wind up with a thin film of ice caused by your car's exhaust, hydrocarbons specifically, freezing on contact with cold surfaces. The result, glaze ice, and again, nothing falling from the sky, so folks are just tooling along at their normal speeds and wonder why they wind up in trouble. This morning, 40 to 45 accidents in the metro area, over 150 cars involved. The main culprit, black ice. According to John Lundell, Metro Traffic Control, just slow down. Here's how much snow is on the ground right now, 16 plus. From Carver County, Chaska, up towards Lino Lakes, Mounds View, and the North Shore, less than 2 out towards Fargo-Moorhead. Goodly amounts of snow statewide. Here's our weather spy photo tonight. A few fall streaks, a few wisps of cloud cover. Pretty sight. A few comma clouds, brought to you by Michael Walt of North St. Paul. Today, lots of sun, but it didn't help. Brittle sun won the high, a low minus 11, both records. In the backyard now, snowing, a visibility 1 mile. Light snow, east winds at 7, wind chill minus 11. Humidity 75 and the barometer falling. From outer space, you can see that Alberta Clipper now pushing light snow eastward. 2 to 4, maybe as much as 5 inches by the time that Clipper pushes into Wisconsin tomorrow afternoon. Check the map and you can see a pretty good stripe of snow right now moving into the metro. Look at this, 41 degrees in Rapid City. An omen of things to come. Upper level winds will become more westerly by the weekend. More of a Pacific flow setting in by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we could be up around the freezing mark this weekend. That should feel good. Tomorrow, though, we'll have to be content with mid-teens, snow tapering as the day goes on. The forecast coming up next.
A sudden illness just came over the Fuller family. For some families, that could be costly, but not for the Fullers, because they have the Gold Star health policy from American Family Insurance. With Gold Star, the Fullers only pay 1 family deductible per year.
Come on.
No matter how many family members there are.
American Family Insurance.
Look in the white or yellow pages for the American Family agent nearest you.
Who can you trust these days to take care of your car when it starts shaking?
Or pulling, or rattling.
Or squeaking.
For suspension or alignment, nobody beats Midas.
I worry about something I can't see.
What your eyes can't see, our state-of-the-art diagnostic equipment will show you. Whatever the problem, we keep it from getting bigger. So for alignment shocks or struts, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Now get 25% off all Midas shocks and struts. 25% off installed.
Dayton's would like to remind you that we're approaching 2 of the shortest days of the year. Dayton's 2-day sale, only 2 short days, this Thursday and Friday.
At Northwest Airlines, we've seen what business flyers will go through to avoid waiting in line. So we're introducing fast-track service between Chicago and the Twin Cities. If you're a full-fare business flyer, just call 1-800-NWA-FAST. Your ticket will be waiting at our express counter. You'll never go back to a regular ticket line again. Northwest's fast-track service between Chicago O'Hare and the Twin Cities. It's about time.
What the heck? Here's the forecast. Huh? For tonight, yeah, it's doing strange things to our equipment. Light snow, 1 to 3 inches by morning. Tomorrow, another inch or two. That would make a grand total of 2 to 5. I think 5 the exception and not the rule, but it's going to be enough to shovel and plow most of the snow over by lunchtime. 12 to 17. Here's the rest of the outlook. Just flurries Friday, 24, back up above 30 this weekend. That should feel pretty doggone good. Santa, well, watching a boxing match on HBO, but Mrs. Claus and 2 of the elves stop by tonight to remind you about the Merry Thriftmas and Santa House. It's a doubleheader holiday fundraiser sponsored by ARC of Hennepin County, going on at Knollwood Mall. Now, Merry Thriftmas features used holiday decorations, ornaments, clothing, toys, games, and collectibles. Santa House, of course, features puppet shows, a candy village, and a children's store. It begins tomorrow, goes through Monday, December 9th. Admission is $1. Children under 3 admitted free. All the proceeds, Paul and I, benefit people with developmental disabilities and their families. Let's boogie on indoors. It's cool out here tonight, Paul.
Those folks look very happy to be out there, don't they?
Oh,
They're just taking off now.
Oh, yeah.
See you later.
Wait.
Thanks for stopping by.
See.
Well, the Toys for Tots campaign received a boost from some Twin Cities children today. Brownie Troop from Sunny Hollow Elementary School in New Hope stopped by our studios to drop off some gifts. Each member of Troop 1365 donated a toy. Later, we'll list some of the other locations you can drop off toys for needy children.
You could use a lot of toys. We're way behind.
Yeah,
way
lots.
behind. Yeah. Still ahead, what would you do if you spotted your picture splashed around a big story in one of those supermarket tabloids?
A 96-year-old woman knew exactly what to do, and now she's getting some tabloid justice.
But next in sports, what's ahead for the Vikings now that Jerry Burns is out as coach?
Tonight's KARE 11 weather has been brought to you in part by Walgreens.
Don't miss Walgreens' fabulous 1-cent sale this week, just in time for the holidays. Buy 1 item at Walgreens' regular low price and get the second for a penny. Selected boxed greeting cards, 2 for $7. Christmas light sets, 2 for $5. Beautiful gift wraps, 2 rolls for $3, and so much more. Walgreens 1-cent holiday sale ends Saturday.
For a lot more Christmas, shop Walgreens.
It's the all-on-sale holiday sale at Montgomery Ward. Friday and Saturday only. Plus, save an extra 10% even on sale prices. Shop Friday evening for an extra 10% off brand name merchandise, including all apparel, all fine jewelry, all home furnishings. Get an extra 10% off all day on the hottest brand names, all electronics, all appliances, and all furniture. Plus 0% interest. Put more under the tree for less at Montgomery Ward. Right now.
You're about to witness a counter-revolution. Introducing a new line of thinking from Europe. Bosch kitchen appliances. Available at Dayton's.
Tonight on your way to the Lake Edna Christmas tree lighting, stop by KFC for a holiday deal. For just $9.99, get a meal of chicken with large mashed potatoes, gravy, 4 biscuits, and coleslaw. Or get original recipe, extra tasty, crispy, and hot wings in a variety bucket. Or get a jumbo bucket of 36 hot wings. These make great stocking stuffers. Just kidding. Happy holidays.
KFC holiday deals, just $9.99. Get them in Lake Edna or your neck of the woods.
Yesterday, Jeff broke the story about Jerry Burns announcing that he's not going to hang around for next year. Now the Vikings make it official today. He apparently has told them as well.
They're not talking a lot about it today, but we did hear from Burnsy last night, and we first reported Jerry Burns' plans to resign last night here on KARE 11 Sports. And the Vikings making it official today. Burnsy will step down as the Vikings coach when the season is over. A 40-year coaching veteran who's spent the last 24 years with the Vikes, 6 of those as their head coach. A disappointing 6-7 record this year after 3 playoff seasons in 5 years, and an overall record of 50-42. A career that included everything but winning the big one with the Vikes, which Burnsy also addressed during our exclusive one-on-one interview.
We're in 4 Super Bowls, which I was a part of with Bud. We were in 1 championship game when I was a head coach with the Washington Redskins. you know, you'd like to get over that last hurdle, but a lot of guys don't even get that far. And so you got to be thankful for the opportunities you've had, and maybe be some disappointment that things didn't break more favorably, but I guess you got to count your blessings.
And now a reaction from one of Burnsy's players, back preparing today to cap his career as the Vikes close out their season.
You know, Coach Burns I've enjoyed playing for him. You know, I think he's a super guy. I've got a lot of respect for him, and you really hate to see a guy like him who's been involved in the game for so long go out on a, you know, on a sour note. You know, we've got 3 games left to go. I think, you know, we just have to concentrate on that.
So the talk of who will be the Vikes' next coach heats up. I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot about Lou Holtz. Current members of the Vikes staff, like assistant head coach Tom Moore, will be considered. Looking outside the organization, a big name like Bill Parcells, who's out of football after leading the Giants to last year's Super Bowl, would be interesting, but I don't think the Vikes are willing to turn over the kind of power and money Parcells would want. The other name you'll be hearing a lot of is Pete Carroll, a former Viking defensive backfield coach who's been the New York Jets defensive coordinator for almost 2 seasons. Carroll is a respected, hot prospect and just might be the right guy for the job. In hockey, former Gopher and St. Paul native Paul Holmgren is out of a job, fired by the Philadelphia Flyers today. Holmgren was in his 4th season as head coach at Philly. Holmgren also a former North Star, and the Stars hosting St. Louis again tonight, a rematch after last night's tie with the Blues. Ulf Dahlen getting a pair of goals, Gaetan Duchesne with 2 as well, and the Stars win it 5-2 over the Blues. Maybe the Stars are turning this thing around. They host Washington Saturday at the Met. And just enough time now to close with our play of the day. To the NBA we go at Milwaukee, where big man Moses Malone tosses up the rock from half court, and he makes it. Talk about excitement. Everybody going crazy. Well, except this guy right here, catching a few Z's courtside. At the end, a little. Hang in there, buddy. You paid $25 for the seat.
Yeah.
Late last
Yeah, I
night.
had a long day. Hard day at work.
It's that time of year.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff. Before we go, a supermarket tabloid that went too far and wound up paying dearly for its blunders.
But first, more of the places where you can drop off toys for needy children this holiday season.
Tonight's KARE 11 Sports has been brought to you in part by the Discover Card.
So you just got a cash advance, did you? Too bad you used an ordinary credit card. Because you could be carrying some very heavy interest charges. Why not carry the Discover Card? Just pay your full monthly balance and a small transaction fee, and we'll forget the interest. Which means our money comes with no strings attached. It pays to Discover.
This week, Best Buy's doing a number of things to get your business. First, there's Zero, which is a % financing you'll pay for 1 full year on all computers, monitors, printers, and other computer stuff. Second is 386 SX, like this Packard Bell computer with 100 megabyte hard drive, 2 megabyte memory, mouse, and software. Third is $11.97, Best Buy's incredibly low price on this computer. With 0% financing for 1 year on any number of computer products, it all adds up to Best Buy.
KARE 11 News and Weather on the hour, every hour, 24 hours a day. News and weather when it matters.
Here's this week's KARE 11 News Express Run. Minneapolis Route 77C from Apple Valley and Eagan to downtown Minneapolis. Leaves 147th Street and Diamond Path at 7:14 a.m. Black Hawk Road Park and Ride at 7:38. Arrives at 7th Street and 2nd Avenue at 8:15. Join KARE 11 and the Minnesota Valley Transit for a free ride on the KARE 11 News Express.
Before we go tonight, call it tabloid justice. A jury has awarded 96-year-old Nellie Mitchell of Harrison, Arkansas, $1.5 million in her lawsuit against The Sun, a Florida-based tabloid. The Sun faked a story about a 101-year-old Australian woman who was supposedly pregnant. It ran a picture of Nellie claiming she was that woman. When Nellie recognized herself, she sued for libel.
Well, yes, I've been teased about it. Oh, the grocery store where I buy my groceries, the boys were always kidding me when I was going to have my baby and what I was going to name it.
The writer admits he made up the story because he says most of the Sun's stories are made up. And the editor who used Nellie's picture says he did so because he figured at 96 years old, she was probably dead. What a fine system of checks and balances
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
in the quest for
Good
truth.
for her.
Yeah,
I'm glad
absolutely.
she won.
Yeah, that's great.
Don't cross Millie. Our forecast tonight, snow. It's going to pick up in intensity. That's a live shot. Isn't that something? 1 to 3 by morning, and then during the morning hours tomorrow, another 1 to 2. Thinking at least 2 to 4 from the storm, maybe as much as 5 before it tapers by afternoon. Jeff.
Again, the North Stars beat the Blues tonight at Met Center. The final was 5-2, and a coaching change in the NBA. Del Harris resigning at Milwaukee.
You know, that's why you stop and think about it. That's why those tabloids always have like UFOs and things like that landing in a swamp in Louisiana. You know, because there's no one to deny it, you know. Well, always believe those articles.
Did you? Of course.
Absolutely. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Good night.
Thanks for watching KARE 11 News, the #1 newscast in the Twin Cities. Stay tuned for more news and weather every hour on the hour.